us now is the co-founder of National Thoroughbred Week and also Kick Up Collective Director, Vicky Leonard. Vicky, thank you very much for jumping on. If you can just elaborate for a little bit more, what is the purpose and what is National Thoroughbred Week?
So National Thoroughbred Week's a collaboration between Australia and New Zealand where we have invited studs and stables and aftercare facilities, vet clinics to open their doors and their gates to the public. And for the first time for a lot of people, they would have access to see what goes on behind the scenes of all these organisations and see the terrific care and dedication that goes into looking after thoroughbreds.
Vicky, tell us, or tell the audience, I guess, why this is so important, that people start to see what is happening behind the scenes in the industry and the care that our animals have.
Well, it's no secret, our industry is certainly under pressure from a sector of society that like to portray negative things about horse racing, which is simply not true. And we can talk to a blue in the face about how well we care for our horses, but there's nothing like showing people. And that's what National Thoroughbred Week is all about. It's about opening the gates and showing people the dedication, the care, the effort, and all the boxes that are ticked, right, to make sure that these animals are the best cared for on the planet. And the best way to do that is to get them out on the farms, to show them the foals and the facilities and the incredible investment that is made to care for our athletes. And so we're really excited. We've had a great response from New Zealand, all around the country, from the Auckland region right down to Canterbury. We've got studs and stables that are blowing open the doors, and we've had a terrific response. We're really excited to see it come together.
We are really appreciative of you jumping on this show, but most people who watch this show probably have been to a stable or know what happens at a stable. How do you get the message across that National Thoroughbred Week is happening to, say, the general public who might want to go, or at least we want them to go, to actually find out what happens? How do you get that message across and make them know that this week is happening?
Yeah, so we're really relying on the industry to reach out to their network. If we all go sort of one or two rungs out and invite our family and friends that are curious about horse racing, then we can start to reach a sector of society that we wouldn't normally talk to. Now, this is year one. This is a bit of a pilot. We're really trying things and working with the different farms and stables, and we'll take a step back at the end and see what works and what doesn't work. And hopefully over the next, 3, 4, 5 years, this becomes, a very major event. We've seen it work. The UK actually started this about 5 or 6 years ago. They now get around 50,000 people through studs and stables in a week in Britain. So they've been terrific, sort of helping us get this organised. Open Farms in New Zealand, which is an initiative driven by Fonterra, has also given us a lot of inspiration. So we're really looking to try things out this year and then make sure that year on year we can make this bigger and better than ever and really start communicating to the public and showing them these, amazing farms and facilities that we have available for our horses.
Vicky, for people at home that are hearing what you're saying and are interested in getting involved, where do they find the information to find a farm or a racing stable near them where they can go to an event?
Yeah, so it's all on the website. Website is thoroughbredweek.co.nz. You'll see there's about 25 to 30 events all around the country. So if you just pop your postcode in or have a scroll around the map, you can see what's local or just isolate it to New Zealand. We've got, between Australia and New Zealand, we've got about 80 different venues. And so these range from like Matamata Vet Clinic. Actually at Matamata, they've got a tour around the race course, and you can see the horse ambulance and horses swimming and horses in training. Of course, you go to Cambridge Stud, you've got the amazing Heritage Centre. There's lots of foals on the ground at the moment, so it's a terrific time of year to be getting out to these farms as well. So yeah, just go to the website. You'll see the times that they're open and the days, and then just register. It's free, and you can share it on socials and try and get the word out to as many people as possible. This is year one, so we don't have a huge budget, so we're really relying on that word of mouth and bringing 5 mates along that might be curious about horse racing or have asked any questions about it in the past.
Vicky, for you personally, you've been pioneering, leading this drive towards making racing more approachable, more friendly, more facts. Just tell me about, for you personally, as an expat Kiwi who has just been so successful across the Tasman and globally, what inspires you to do what you do?
I've got a young team in my marketing company at Kick Collective, and it became quite apparent, around 8 years ago that horse racing was coming under a lot of pressure. And Melbourne Cup Day was quickly becoming a day where we had to put our shields on and really armour up to defend horse racing. And it was quite difficult to do that. And it really upset me not because, we had to defend racing, we're more than happy to do that. But the fact that there just wasn't the accessibility, there wasn't the access to information, statistics, science to be able to do it properly. So that's when we launched Kick Up, which is a resource for the industry in Australia to be able to tap into and talk about all the amazing things that are going on, but with data behind them and with science. And so from that, the natural extension has been National Thoroughbred Week. We've also extended a similar initiative to Kick Up to the US. It's called Light Up Racing over there. And we're looking to really change the perception of horse racing. And we have to do that by being honest, candid, transparent, and letting people in and having proper conversations with them. So we're really excited to see how it's progressed. I mean, obviously the Melbourne Cup did have its challenge again this year with Half Yours biting his cheek and having blood in the mouth. But we're really finding that people are curious to find out why and not just jumping to negative conclusions anymore. So we're excited about how telling the narrative and making sure that our industry story is spoken about properly can have an impact. We've seen industries struggle because they haven't done that. And thoroughbred racing has to put its shoulders back and stand proud and really talk positively about how well our industry is doing.
Yeah, kickup.com.au. It's a wonderful resource for anybody that wants to find out about horse racing. But for you personally, Vicky, I know you've put a lot of work into this, and I think in the beginning really challenging for you. But for me, I feel like we're starting to see a shift and starting to see a change. Instead of hiding things behind closed doors, people are front-footing things nowadays. And we saw evidence of that with Kieran Maher on track yesterday at Caulfield with Jimmy Starr after he pulled up from the race. Are you proud to start to see trainers front-footing these things as well? And it's not just your voice out there?
Yeah, it's great, actually. It was amazing straight after the Melbourne Cup. Tony McAvoy was chatting to Julia Ritchie, who's the director of Kick Up, and said, what do we need? How can we get some information out there? And actually I just had a drink in the airport lounge yesterday with Kieran. We were both flying back on the same flight to Sydney, and he said, I went and found Amy straight away and just made sure that I explained what had happened. He just shifted a shoe. And I said, that's perfect. So that's all you need to do. We don't have to overcomplicate things, but we do have to start talking about things that previously our industry would have just moved on from and not explained. And welfare has to be part of the everyday racing story now, whether you're on course or watching on TV or online or in person. That should be discussed and open and spoken about. And so it's really cool that we're now seeing that become part of the norm.
Well, we applaud you greatly for what you have done and what you continue to do, and especially with National Thoroughbred Week this week as well. We will try to spread the message as much as we can. Thank you so much for jumping on, Vicky. We do appreciate it.
Thank you.
Great stuff. Vicky Leonard there.
Want to jump in and say what a remarkable Kiwi Vicky Leonard is in our industry. The work she's done across the Tasman, she's not going to tell you herself, but she is a pioneer in her marketing company, the Kick Up page, this National Thoroughbred Week. We should be very proud of her as a New Zealander, what she's doing globally.
Catch weigh in every Sunday morning, 10:30, Trackside 1.